start with respect to my work and why I've been doing it for the past 12 to 13 years with one basic question that almost everybody asks me on, given the fact that I belong to the news media, I belong to the news business, I'm involved with news as a news anchor with respect to politics, business, budget, social issues. But the fact that one question that I'm asked is that as a correspondent, as a journalist, why did I decide to focus on the niche area of arts journalism? Why did I decide to specialize in arts journalism? Well, I'm going to give you an answer to that in just a bit. Before that, I'd like to give a glimpse to you of the kind of work that I've done so far. So I'm going to play out my first video on my talk. My first video.
The most common form of art is the canvas, and in my show, that canvas is the box and we're moving beyond the canvas.
So, Sensab, how was your day today? Do you think your life is like a Ferrari car?
Yeah, the youth.
Right.
But yeah, that energy.
That's there, and that continues.
Subodh, you know, I'm one of those few lucky people who has the luxury of sitting and eating in a stainless steel bartan with the original bartan artist.
Well, I played that out to just give you an idea of the kind of art stories that I've done as far as arts journalism is concerned. So it's not just about one-on-one interviews with well-known artists. It's not just about visiting artist studios, talking about art styles. It's about hardcore art news which is part of our everyday lives, which is part of our daily discourse. It's about news that affects freedom of expression. It's about news which talks about art business in terms of art investment. It's about news on issues that artists have been talking about. They're making paintings on the Iraq war. They're making installations on the New Age protesters. So it's about everyday issues which are part of our daily discourse. So when I started out sometime around in 2002, I tried out everything as a journalist. I did political reporting, I did business reporting, I did reporting on social issues. But when I started cultural reporting and when I focused in on visual arts, on what artists do, what they make, the kind of messages that they're trying to give out, I found arts reportage far more multi-layered, far more deep, so to say. Because when you're doing political analysis, sitting in the news studio as an anchor, when you're doing political reporting, it's a day-to-day analysis, it's the day's news. But what the artists are trying to say through their work is far more multi-layered. They're giving it out in a language that we don't speak every day. They're giving it out using their medium. They use the language of canvas, of their tools, of their paints. Musicians use it with music and notes. They're just giving out the same message, but they're giving it out differently. And that makes it extremely challenging to understand. For me, it was exciting to crack the core of an artist, or what an artist is trying to say through a particular work. Cracking that code was an extremely challenging as well as exciting process at the same time. And as a journalist, when you're reaching out to your readers, when you're reaching out to your viewers, the challenge is to translate that code, to transcribe that code for your viewers, for your readers in a better understandable language. So I started doing the art beat. I started specializing in it around 2002, 2003. But at that point of time, art wasn't taken that much seriously. It still isn't in a lot of publications and media houses. It was treated like a nice, easy, breezy beat to have, something that you can push for your weekend show, something you don't need for your daily discourse, something you don't need to put into your mainstream hardcore news bulletins. It was always pushed to the side. So I did that for a few years and it really angered me. I didn't want to keep doing that, just continuously being pushed to the side, because the artists were saying really, really deep things. And they were saying relevant things about what we talk about every day. It's just that their message wasn't coming out, wasn't reaching out to us. So in 2005, I remember when I was being hired for this channel, CNN IBN, and the chief editor there, he was hiring me as a news anchor as well as a correspondent. So I put my foot down and I told him, if you're taking me as a correspondent, I'm not going to be doing your political reporting. I'm only going to be focusing on specialized arts reporting. So you hire me as an arts journalist, so to say. He agreed, fortunately. I'm sure he didn't know what he was in for. But fortunately, he agreed. And the challenge then for me was to make those art reports relevant to daily news. As I mentioned earlier, there were a lot of issues I covered to give that seriousness to art news, whether it's about an artist talking about the Iraq war, whether it's about a campaign, arts activism campaign with respect to the New Age protester. I did that for a few years, and then in 2005, I did my biggest story ever, which in the arts journalism industry is so far the first and the biggest ever. The first time that an arts report was treated as a sting operation. A sting operation is when you use a spy camera, a hidden camera. So the issue was about a framer, this local framer in Delhi, whose business, whose front was to make frames for paintings and give them off to the artists, whoever is getting their paintings framed. Someone told me that he's selling fake works of known masters, masters such as M.F. Hussain and S.H. Raza, established senior masters. He's getting fake works of them painted and signed and selling them as originals. I came to know about that through a few sources. I decided to get to the bottom of it. I went to the framer. I took my spy camera with my camera person who went as my friend. He was carrying his spy camera, which was the briefcase. And I posed myself to be an interested buyer to the framer. And I told him to show me these masters, and I'm an interested buyer. I really want to buy huge works. I have bags full of money. I'm going to be the best buyer that he gets. He first, of course, refused that he doesn't have these works, but later, after much persuasion, he took me to a go-down area, which is a basement shut out from public space. And there I saw, which I felt were a few fakes, particularly one large M.F. Hussain canvas. I did the relevant inquiries on getting an authenticity certificate on the painting, on the price of the work, and since when does he have it, for how long has it been with him, how did he get it from an artist like M.F. Hussain, considering that he's just an ordinary framer. So he kind of hashed the story and gave me a few details. I asked the relevant questions, did the recording on my spy cam, and just left in a hurry before he felt suspicious before I was caught. Then the challenge was to get that confirmed from the artist on whether or not this is a fake painting. That in itself was a challenge because at that time in 2005, M.F. Hussain had just left the country for good. He was on the self-imposed exile from 2005 till he died, if you're aware of. So I had to send in footage, track down his numbers in Dubai, get in touch with him, send him the footage, send him the images, and then he got to see it, and then I called him, inquired if he's seen it, if one of them are fakes. He confirmed it finally, and that's when I broke the story on air. The major achievement of this sting operation was the impact of this story. It was flashed on air, it became the day driver. I'll explain the technical term day driver, what it really means in a newsroom, in a news channel. But the major impact was that the police raided his shop, pulled the shutters down, confiscated the fake painting, informed M.F. Hussain and his family officially. That was the major impact. And given the fact that this was made a news driver of the day, which means the news that runs through the day, every half hour, is the headline story. It's part of your 9 p.m. discussion. It's part of your 11 p.m. Bulletin till the early morning bulletins next day. So that was the first time art news was treated as mainstream, hardcore news, which becomes a news channel's day driver. I'm going to play out my second video, which is about this sting operation and the impact the police raids.
I got a tip from an art curator telling me that the Sharma Framing House is a place where fakes are sold as originals, and he clearly told me that if I go there right now, I'm likely to find some fakes being sold there as originals. This is the Sharma Framing House in Delhi's popular Lajpat Nagar market. In the news 2 years ago for its involvement in the sale of Anjali Ilamenin fake artwork. Tipped off by a curator, the CNN IDN team landed up at the shop, posing as art buyers interested in picking up some big names. While Harilal Sharma insisted that he only dealt with junior artists, we knew that he had some big names stashed away in a godown. We had anticipated the reluctance, which is why we had set up a phone call with the curator who had originally tipped us off. Obviously, the curator enjoyed Harilal's confidence. Finally, Harilal led us to the basement where big artworks are kept hidden from the public eye. And the first thing that struck my eye was this huge artwork by N.F. Hussain. I tried to strike a bargain. We moved on to what looked like another Hussain, one of his earlier works. I tried to quiz him on the history of the painting and asked him for the provenance, a piece of paper that authenticates the ownership history of a work of art. Harilal tried to talk us out of it. Harilal's attempt to convince us of the ownership history of this painting did not appear credible at all.
Now, I had a good enough hunch that whatever this chap is offering me could possibly be a fake because of his hesitation of giving me the provenance and the history of the works. So I decided to why not check with the master himself. Now, since N.F. Hussain is out of the country, we decided to send him images of the footage of his spy camera. And this is what he had to say.
आपकी दो पेंटिंग थी जो शर्मा फ्रेमिंग हाउस के बेसमेंट में हुई थी। एक 1968 की थी और 1976 की। तो वो 76 तो मालूम थी वो ठीक है। और जो 68 जो घोड़े वाले हैं वो ठीक है, वो ठीक है।
This painting is a fake, and this one seems fine. It's been spoken about in whispers around art circles, and art lovers have heard about fakes.
With the Indian art market going global, a lot of fakes are being passed on as originals. CNN IBN has just uncovered the tip of this iceberg of the roaring underground business of fake paintings. In New Delhi, Sahar Zaman.
Thank you.
Can I move outside?
Yeah, you move outside.
I'm standing in front of Sharma Framing House. This is the spot where I was a fortnight ago, posing to be an interested buyer to buy works of big artists. Now he has a front of just selling frames, but he actually also keeps works of big artists, some of them being fakes. Now I'm going to take you to the real place where the real stuff lies, the go down where he showed me two Hussains and which one of them was fakes. But as you see now, the shutters have been pulled down because Harilal Sharma could not produce the work of 90 lakhs within half an hour, and he's been taken to police station for the moment.
I'd kind of conquered that challenge of establishing the arts beat as a serious beat in mainstream news media. I've reached a stage today when each time that I do an art show for television, sponsors want to get on board because that gives them larger brand visibility for their brand name. For instance, when I was doing an art investment show for Bloomberg TV, art business, by the way, art business news is a larger part of my reportage as well because of the expanding art market, the kind of auction records that have been broken. Each time a painting, one piece of canvas sells for 16 crores or 23 crores, it always makes heads turn. It's always headlines. So art business news is also a major part of my reportage, talking about art funds, which is a new concept, set along the lines of a mutual fund, art investment, creating your own portfolio, how to make profits on buying paintings, all of that. So there's a similar such show on business that I'd done for Bloomberg, where I had several such sponsors coming on board to be associated with the art show there. Currently, what I'm doing is in the process of launching Asia's first web channel on the arts. And that's once again taking ahead my philosophy of what really I've maintained in my entire career of essentially making arts accessible, reaching out to the viewers, letting you know that art's for everybody. It's for everybody to discuss because I come across so many people who just shut their minds to arts, saying that it's not for them, they don't understand it, they don't understand the language of art.